All right, let's dive right in. We're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden digital arms race, a kind of silent countdown that could literally decide the future of all of our online privacy and security. I mean, just think about that for a second. What if there was one single master key that could open every encrypted email, every single bank transfer, every private message you've ever sent? It sounds like something out of a movie, right? Well, it's not. It is the very real problem at the heart of this quantum countdown. You see, the cryptographic shields, the very things we've all relied on for decades to keep us safe online, they're starting to show some serious cracks. There's a totally new kind of computer on the horizon, and it speaks a language that can shatter our current defenses. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into the quantum threat itself. Then, we'll talk about this pretty chilling strategy called harvest now, decrypt later. After that, we'll look at the good guys, the post-quantum contenders. Then, a fascinating comparison I'm calling a tale of two ciphers. And finally, how we're actually going to build a quantum-ready future. So, what is the big deal? What's causing all this? It comes down to a revolutionary new machine, the quantum computer. And this thing, it doesn't just calculate faster, it calculates differently. It's playing a whole new ballgame, solving problems that are just flat out impossible for even the biggest supercomputers we have today. And this is its secret weapon, Shor's algorithm. Now, this isn't some new discovery. It was actually figured out way back in 1994. For decades, it was just pure theory. It was like having the blueprints for a starship, but no way to actually build it. Well, guess what? The hardware is finally catching up. Now, you're going to see a bunch of dates here, but don't get too hung up on one specific year. The big takeaway, the thing you really need to get, is that Q-Day, the day a quantum computer can finally break our encryption, is coming. IBM is shooting for 2030. Other experts think it might be as late as 2060. But honestly, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years or 30. The clock is already ticking. Okay, so you might be thinking, hold on. If these supercomputers are still years, maybe even decades away, why are we freaking out now? And that is a great question. The answer is this really chilling concept called harvest now, decrypt later. And it's exactly why this threat is already here. It's a patient game. It's simple, but it's also brilliantly scary. Step 1. Adversaries are capturing and storing massive amounts of our encrypted data today. All that data flying around the internet, they're just scooping it up. It costs almost nothing to store it. Then, they just wait. They're waiting for Q-Day. And once they have that powerful quantum computer, they'll pull out all that old data and, boom, decrypt everything. It's like setting a digital time bomb for our most valuable secrets. And look, this isn't some fringe conspiracy theory. We're talking about the NSA, CISA, and NIST, the heaviest hitters in cybersecurity. They are all sounding the alarm, basically screaming that this data harvesting is probably already happening, targeting secrets with long-term value. So here's the bottom line. Any data that needs to stay secret for a decade or more, think about corporate secrets, your personal health records, top secret government files, it's already vulnerable, right now. Its security isn't based on today's computers, it's a bet against the computers of the future. Okay, so that was the scary part. How do we possibly fight back against a threat that's coming from the future? Well, the world's best cryptographers are already on it. They're building a whole new generation of quantum-proof defenses. The solution is called Post-Quantum Cryptography, or PQC for short. And the core idea is really cool. Instead of just trying to make the old locks stronger, they're inventing brand new kinds of locks. These are built on mathematical problems that are so ridiculously hard that even a powerful quantum computer would just get a headache and give up. And it's not just one single idea either. There are a whole bunch of different approaches, different families of algorithms being explored. In fact, the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has been running this huge global competition to figure out which ones are the best. For our purposes, we're going to focus on two of the leading families to really understand the kinds of choices we're all facing. And this is where it gets really interesting, because it turns out there is no silver bullet. There isn't one perfect replacement that does everything we need. Instead, it's all about making complex trade-offs. So let's look at this tale of two ciphers, code-based versus multivariate systems. Think of it this way. Code-based systems are like a giant stone fortress. They're super robust, built on math we've understood for a long, long time. They are incredibly secure, but they're also a bit big and slow. On the other hand, you've got multivariate systems. These are like a sleek Formula One race car. They are blazingly fast, have small keys, and are super efficient. But they're built on newer, more complex math, maybe a little more delicate. You get the fortress, or you get the race car. It's really, really hard to get both. To really get a sense of this trade-off, let's just talk about one thing: the size of the key. Right now, a standard encryption key is about 2,048 bits. Our entire internet infrastructure, everything we use, is built to handle that size no problem. Okay, now get this. Some of those super secure, fortress-style code-based keys, they can be hundreds of kilobytes in size. That's not just a little bigger, it's orders of magnitude larger. The best analogy I've heard is this. Imagine your front door key, which fits in your pocket, suddenly became the size of a microwave. Now imagine trying to use that key millions of times a second. That's the challenge our networks are facing. So you see the dilemma. The right choice depends entirely on what you're doing. If you're archiving sensitive records for 50 years, you're going to want that heavy armor, that big microwave key, because security is everything. But if you're processing millions of credit cards transactions every minute, you absolutely need the speed of that race car. Context is king. So if there's no single perfect solution, how do we actually move forward? Well, the answer isn't to just pick one and hope for the best. The real-world strategy is all about being agile and building defenses in layers. And a strategy really has three main pillars. First, standardization. We need the whole world to agree on and use the most tested and trusted algorithms. Second is something called hybrid deployments. This is a brilliant idea. You basically use your old lock and a new quantum-proof lock on the same message. An attacker would have to break both. And third, and this might be the most important, is cryptographic agility. This just means we need to build our system so we can easily swap out the encryption later if we find a new weakness or invent something even better. And that's really the main takeaway from all the experts. The path to a quantum-safe future isn't about finding a one-size-fits-all solution. It's about being smart, being flexible, and using the right tool for the right job. Which, of course, leaves us with the central question of this whole race. We know for a fact that quantum computers are getting more powerful every single day. The race is on. The real question is, can our defenses evolve fast enough to stay ahead? The security of our entire digital world hangs in the balance.